It's not your journey to take. It's not your journey to take. It's not your journey to take. Let's learn. Let's learn.
Good morning. Good morning to Not Your Journey to Take Early Morning Sip and Chat. I thank you for watching me live and watching the replay. My name is Kesha, Kesha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take, and I teach women that no is a complete sentence. I show them how to set healthy boundaries while putting their needs first. So let's get into it. So for the past couple of weeks, starting 2023, a couple things we did. First, good morning, Takora. First thing we did, the first week, what we did is as we were setting our goals, I'd asked you to set a couple of boundaries as your goal. You didn't have to do a whole lot, but just set up a couple of boundaries as your goal. Week 2, I asked you to test that out for me. Just test it out. Sometimes you have to say, no, I can't. Not today, not this week, not this month. Whatever you have to say to set up whatever boundary you needed. And we're not saying no just to say no. We're not being mean or malice in any type of way. What we're doing is we're learning how to put ourselves first. So if you already have something planned, you already have something else going on, then what you would do is you will just say no, or not right now, or not today. Right? But it's totally up to you on how you set your boundaries, because your boundary isn't always a no. It's not always a no. However, it does really start with the word no, depending upon what it is, right? So we tried testing it. Some of you it worked. Some of you felt a little uncomfortable. Some of you still did it anyway after you said no. Right? And I can understand that. I can understand that, and I can respect that, especially if that's something that you don't normally do. So I get it. And it takes time. It absolutely takes time. So week 1, we set a few boundaries as goals. Week 2, we tested out some of those boundaries. We didn't have to test them all, and we didn't have to test them on everybody. Just when the opportunity presented itself and you felt like you needed to put you first at that particular time, then the response to whomever is asking whatever should be no. Well, not right now. This week, we've been talking about fears. So we did it in that strategic order on purpose. So now you have tried the no's. Now you feel a little uncomfortable, or you're feeling a little sideways, like you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have said no. Or even after you said no, you allowed the negotiations to happen. And you said yes anyway, right? So this week, we're talking about different fears that you have with putting yourself first. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with the example that we've been talking about for 3 weeks. When you get on an airplane, you have the flight attendant giving you all the rules. One of the rules that the flight attendant gives you is, if the cabin loses air pressure, secure your mask first, then help others. Same premise is true in life. If you need to take care of you, then you do that first. And then you can help others. Can't pour from an empty cup. You pour from a full cup. That way you do all the things out of love and out of kindness. It's a beautiful thing when you can do it out of love and out of kindness. You don't feel like a chore. You don't feel obligated. You don't feel required. You do it from a happy space, a happy place. So let's talk about these fears. Fear 1. You fear how people will feel if you tell them no. You get worried on how they're going to feel when you tell them no. You don't have to worry about how they feel, because honestly, that's your mind playing tricks on you. You're thinking for somebody else. That is not your responsibility. That is not for you to be thinking for somebody else. You can't do that. You can't breathe for them. You can't think for them. So as you are fearing how they're going to feel, that's something within you Because the recipient of your no, not right now, they're not bothered. If they really needed somebody to do something for them, you know what? They'll go ask somebody else. You're not the end all say all. And that's something that we have to remember. We are not the end all say all. 2, fear of retaliation. You feel that if I tell you no today, that you're going to tell me no or be malice in your no later on today or on tomorrow or at another time. But again, that's your mind playing tricks on you. People understand when you have to say no. People get that you can't show up all the time. They really do. But your mind is telling you, oh, if I say no, then they're going to say no back. If I say no, then they're going to come back and say or do something else. Don't worry about that. They're not stressed, and neither should you. Number 3, you fear that they won't respect your boundaries. And they probably won't. Not initially. Not in the beginning. Absolutely not. Why should they? You've always been the go-to person. You've always been the yes person. You're always showing up for everybody else, even when it's sacrificing for you. So why should they respect it when you don't respect it? Stick to your no. Stick to your not right now. Stick to whatever boundary that you have set forth. I'm giving the quick and easy ones by saying no and not right now. But there's a ton of boundaries. There's a ton of boundaries. A ton. So if you don't stick to them, they're not used to you saying no, or they're not used to you having any boundaries with them. Why would they begin to respect them just because you say them? Right? That's usually how we feel. Well, contrary to popular belief, they will respect that boundary. Maybe not initially, but give them a little time. They will respect it because they get it. They get it. It's just your initial response is different from your previous responses. So they're going to go into the what? Nah, I still need you to do this. And you're looking like, no, I can't. And they say, no, just go ahead. Because you always have. So it's going to feel like they're not respecting your boundaries. Number 4, fear of putting you first. Most people fear that if I put me first, something is wrong with that. They fear if I put me first, something is absolutely wrong with that. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because just like the flight attendant says, put your mask on first, then help others. Same is true in your life and what you have going on. Same is true. Number 5, fear of the unknown. You fear that if I say no, stop, don't, I can't, I don't want to, I'm focusing on me today. You're just not sure what's going to happen. You just don't know. It's almost like, oh, is the universe going to come back to me because I told them no? Nothing bad is going to happen. You don't have to fear the unknown. The unknown that you need to be fearing is if you don't show up for you. If you don't put you first. If you don't set those boundaries. If you don't do any of that, you should be fearing that unknown. Not taking care of yourself. That unknown. Because if you go back to the flight attendant, what do you think happens if you're on that flight, cabin loses air pressure? You helping everybody else put on their mask. You helping everybody else. Boom, boom, boom. Here's a mask. Here's a mask. Let me help you put on your mask. Cabin is losing air pressure. What do you think is happening to you? You're losing oxygen. So now you've helped everybody else. Now they're focused on them. They have their masks on and they're focusing on them. They're breathing. They're getting it in. You sitting here on the floor. Or you in your chair, you've lost so much oxygen, you don't have any energy. You can't reach your mask, but nobody is paying attention to you because they're focused on themselves and they're breathing because they have their mask on. But if you had done what the flight attendant said do, put your mask on first, then help all others. Everybody breathing. Everybody good. So it's not an issue that they're not focused on you. Why? because you have your mask on as well. And you're breathing as well. But if you don't put your mask on and you help everybody else, same is true in life. You help everybody else, and then they're all going about their day and their business or whatever they have going on. And you over here struggling in one way or another. Whatever that looks like to you. Struggling one way or another, right? So with that being said, you have to focus on you. Put you first. Learn that no is a complete sentence. 2 letters, 1 word, it is an entire sentence. Believe that. People will respect your no. You don't have anything to fear. You don't have to fear retaliation. You don't have to fear the unknown. You don't have to fear that they won't respect your no. You don't have to fear any of that. You don't have to worry about how they feel. You don't breathe for them. You can't walk for them. So you can't think for them. You can't think for anybody. You can assume what you think they feel. You can assume what you think they'll think. You can assume all the things. But what does that do for you? Nothing. Your assumption, is it true? You don't know. Are they really mad at you? No, they're not mad at you. They just needed you to show up for them, whatever that looked like. And you couldn't. You couldn't. You couldn't. And the reason could just be you being focused. You are focusing on you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You focus on you and you put you first. That means when you show up for everybody else, you are pouring from a full cup. You're doing things out of love and out of kindness. And you're doing it because you want to. And I promise you it shows up differently than doing it because you feel like you have to. You're obligated. You're required. Same action, but you show up differently. You show up differently. Because of that, take time for you. Figure out what it is that you want to do. Figure out what makes you happy. Figure out what makes you relaxed. Then do that sometimes. So then when you are asked or tasked to do different things, it'll be okay. You won't mind. And you will pour from a full cup, not an empty cup. Because I'm going to tell you, if that cup is empty, how far you think you're going to go? Just like being on that plane, giving everybody else their oxygen mask and you not having yours. How far you think you're going to go? How long you think you're going to last? Okay, I'll tell you, it won't be for so long, because if the cabin is losing air pressure and you're helping everybody else, the oxygen is going. Hence the reason why we're putting on our masks. The reason why you should be putting yours on first. Same in life. Same in life. So it's not that you're not showing up for anyone. It's not that you're not doing anything for anyone. It's not that you're not being there for anyone. You're now doing it with boundaries. Now you're doing it with healthy boundaries. Now you're learning how to put you first. And you're learning that the word no is a complete sentence. And it's absolutely okay. It is absolutely okay. You may feel that somebody may not like your no. You may fear retaliation. You may fear that they won't respect your boundaries. You may fear putting yourself first. You may fear whatever the unknown is. You may fear all of those things. But why? If you're taking care of you first, none of those fears should exist. None of them. Because whoever it is that's asking anything of you, will understand whether they like it or not, whether they respect it or not. They may go into the negotiation phase where, if you can't do it now, can you do it in an hour? If you can't do it now, can you do it tomorrow? If you can't do this, can you do that? If you can't do that, can you do this? It's up to you how you respond to that. Totally up to you. But if the answer is no means no means no. So totally up to you how you respond to that. Totally up to you. I say, put you first, set healthy boundaries, and then implement them. And learn that no is a complete sentence. Okay? Hopefully you've had your tea, your water, your coffee. You're getting your day started. Starting it with some type of intention, knowing what it is of what you want to do today, how you want to accomplish today, how you want to attack today. It'll be all good. This is going to be a great day. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go and get your day started. I want to thank you again for joining me for Not Your Journey to Take Early Morning Sip and Chat. I hope that everybody is getting the day started like on purpose, and that you have a super fantastic day on purpose. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at Not Your Journey to Take Early Morning Sip and Chat. Thank you. Thank you for watching the latest Not Your Journey to Take video. I hope that each of you will be having a super fantastic day. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share.